Hello, my friends! I've got 2,000 points of Vampire counts, 2,000 points of Empire. They want to fight, and we've got a front row seat to see exactly what's going to happen here. This is going to be great. Are you ready for this? Yeah, buddy, Vampire counts. I'm so excited to be playing my dudes again. It's been way too long playing the Orcs and Goblins. I missed them. I missed the Fanged ones, and I missed how much I hate them, and I missed how much I love them. So we just finished up the North Star tournament, which was a 2,200 point. Everyone is focused on it. Some of the guys in my gaming group are looking at Acon, Adepticon, but you know a good handful of us got into Wapaka. So that's what we're looking at right now is 2,000 points. What do we want to bring? That's the next tournament. Unfortunately, it's another one of these tournaments that is like low points. 2,000, 2,200, that's BS. Give us 24, 25 so we can do all the fun tricks we like. It's just painful to make army lists this small. So you hear a lot of us bitching about it. So I'm playing my buddy Zach in my gaming group, and he's trimmed down his North Star Empire list to basically removed a little bit of stuff that he liked to get down to 2,000. I just threw Vampire list together. I think I'll bring Orcs and Goblins out to Wapaka, but we'll see. So this is the battle. It's just a normal practice, normal deployment, pitch battle. Forest in the middle. Let's get it on. So here's what my opponent has. He's got a Summit Beer. Then he's got a group of Great Swords, a level 4 of Light in there. No Light Council or anything, but he has one level 4, so he can still kick out some damage. And I'm undead, so he's going to be hitting me even harder. Then he's got a group of Pistoliers, some of my favorite fast cat in the game. And then what's this? Karl Frizzons. Karl Franz himself, up on a horse, so he gets his 18-inch leadership. And he's got his BSB in there. He's got his Super Sword of no armor saves and auto wounds, and a bunch of Inner Circle Knights. That's going to be a painful unit to fight. Then he's got his Hurricanum nearby, and if you're a fan of the Witcher series of video games, you might recognize that wolf's head. And if you're not a fan of The Witcher, you should definitely get and play The Witcher 2. It's amazing. Then he's got a group of regular knights next to them. Now, there's no warrior priest in there. He can't afford it at 2,000 points. He wants to do too much. So, just regular knights, I'm okay with going into those guys. Then only one cannon and 3 demigriffs. I can take that all day. I'll take 1 cannon over 3 at any point, and no steam tank. I'm very happy about this. I think I can do it. So we do normal deployment, and I put all my crap down on the left side first so that I can focus on the demis and the cannon right away. And look at that, he brought knights, and I brought knights. I got blood knights, and I got black knights. I'm not going to apologize. I love blood knights. I love them. They get me very excited. They're super expensive. They're more expensive than Monsters Cavalry, I think, but they are amazing, and I'm very excited to be running them. So they're just 5. I upgraded them to get the 5th and the full command. It's odd they come in a 4-pack standard. They're so expensive. But I do not have that 75-point banner that gives them a 4-up ward save. It's just too much. Then I've got my 9 Black Knights who are protecting my Vampire Lord. He's a level 3 Killy Vampire, so you're going to have things like Red Fury, Quick Blood. He's got a Lance. I couldn't afford to give him the Ogre Blade, the Strength 7. And you know what? That means I'm still going to hit like a truck, but I got to get the charge off. I can't be in a prolonged combat or the strength's going to dip down too low. So, just got to be proactive. To help me with that, I've got 2 groups of 3 Vargeists and a group of Fellbats. Now, I put a little asterisk by that group of Fellbats because I think I accidentally put them on as like Bat Swarms, so it costs double as much, and I didn't realize it until like halfway through the game. So, if I was running this list, I should have either 4 in one group, or more likely 2 groups of Fellbats there. So that would help quite a bit. Then for the rest of the guys, just dropped in the middle, 2 groups of 35 zombies with Musician Standard, and then Skeletons. 40 of them with a level 1 Necromancer in there. And it's kind of, you know, I don't play vampires that much anymore. This is what I hate about the VC. If you want to do a fun movement-based list, and you're not going to hold up for the guys, your core just is not even part of the game. They suck anyway, but they'll tie stuff up. But, I mean, they just can't even compete. So I'm going to have to find a way to swoop in and actually make those guys get into combat. But I don't have Van Hells down there. I have Invocation with my level 1 Necromancer. So, and I wanted to put a Dispel Scroll on them instead of the Book of Archon. So they're just going to be slow. And my hope is to get them into combat, but that's the problem with the VC. So enough bitching. We go to Vanguard movement. He moves up first with his Pistoliers, and I move my dogs respecting the 12-inch rule, so that's as far as they can go. We go to Vampire turn 1 because I get the roll. These guys are hungry, and they're going. So here's what it looks like. Blood Knights and Lord march up. The dogs start chaffing up his regular knights. The bats fly over that little graveyard, and then I'm using the left group of Vargeists to focus on that cannon. They're going to get their next turn, probably take 1 shot, and then my second cannon my second group of Vargeists are going to take those demigriffs out. And I've angled such that if he comes at me, he's either got to reform and take 2 knights, or if he overruns, he's still going to get blood knights in his face. So that's what I'm hoping for. On my left flank, it's simply just the core, moving up there 4 inches. Can't do that much, but I've already bitched about it. We go to the magic phase, it's 10 dice to 5. I first throw off a Gaze and Nagash, trying to draw a couple dice, but he doesn't care. I target his cannon, juiced up version, I get 1/6 out of like a handful of dice. So 1 wound, I didn't expect to kill it, but I got one through. So my other 5 dice, I beat him on a Bubble Van Hells, so I get to go off, and everyone up just moves up. I keep the same plan. I'm not going to fail any charges. I'm definitely in his Demigryph's face, and my Blood Knights are really close. Now, here's why you should talk this out with your opponent ahead of time. I moved it up. I mean, Zach and I we're having a good time. We're not competitive really at all. But I moved them up, and I said, okay, when he charges, they won't be able to overrun and hit me, even if he gets a long overrun. But we're on a hill there. So when he does charge later, and I shrink up my skirmishing unit, and he hits me, he's going to hit them on a really long overrun. I don't know if he'll make it. You'll have to see. But it's one of those things where I could have just moved it another ½ inch back, and it would have been just fine. Like, we wouldn't have had an issue. Or I could have just said, hey, do you agree if you charge here that you won't be able to hit him on an overrun? But it was one of those things where it's just sloppy play. It's worth mentioning. You should always talk it out. Or I didn't need to put him in danger. I would have just moved him a ½ inch back, and it would have been fine. The bats move up to help double chaff with the dogs, and that's it for Magic. And that's also it for Vampire turn 1. We go to Empire turn 1, and the Demigryphs go into the Vargheist, as you can see there. Exactly what's expected. His Knights go into my dogs, and that's going to be quick work for the dogs. Well, quick work for the Knights. The dogs are dead. His Pistoliers move up to shoot at some stuff, probably the bats, since they're really, really close to him. And Karl Franz, the Hurricanum, the Great Sword just start moving up toward the middle. And he was lamenting his deployment here at this time, saying, God damn it, I got to go so far to get there, but this is exactly what I want. And here's just a picture of the action without the arrows. You can kind of see where everyone's positioned. We go to the Magic phase. It's 7 dice to 4. He had one of those dice was from the Hurricanum, giving him 1. He throws 3 dice at Banishment. I let that go. He was targeting the skeletons. He gets 11 hits and kills 7. So that's a good number, but that's okay. I can grow that back in a heartbeat. And then he throws, I think, 3 dice at Shem's Burning Gaze. And he gets Irresistible Force. It goes off. 10 hits, only kills 4. And the miscast, he rolls the biggest value, the biggest one on the chart, which is the Pie Plate. And you could get... No, maybe it's the smallest one. It's the smallest one. It's a Pie Plate, and you get sucked into the warp. Which is exactly what happens. He hits 19 hits, kills 17 of his greatswords, puts a wound on his caster, and then his caster gets sucked into the warp. All for 4 skeletons. God, I was so happy about that trade. I would do that all day long. I also felt bad for him because that's a big uphill battle, and now I'm not afraid of those greatswords like at all. But I'm not feeling that bad for him. And they're still handsome looking. Look at that. That's still a force to fight. So in shooting, the cannon takes aim, tries to kill a Vargheist and hit my Lord, and overshoots a Vargheist, but I make my Lookout Sir, so 2 Black Knights die. That's all that happens. In shooting, his Pistoliers kill one of the Fellbats and put 1 wound onto the next one. So he's still got 1 wound left. And in close combat, he obliterates the dogs, but it's just through combat res, actually. I think those Knights mostly whiffed. So I just crumble, and he turns to face me, as you can see. Demigryphs, I land 1 wound on the Demigryphs with my Vargheist, and then he goes to overrun, and he rolls really short amount of distance. So now he's not into the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights are going to go into him with Strength 7 instead of Strength 5, and I'm going to chop him up, because I'm probably also going to bring my Lord in there to bear. So that's exactly what happens. Lord into the flank, Blood Knights into the front. Super attacky Blood Knights. I'm very excited. And then I move my Vargheist into the cannon. Make short work of that. And then on the left flank, I got some great news. My zombies are just doing great things. So first, the group on the right, I charge into the Pistoliers into the flank. He doesn't flee because he's going to bounce through friggin' everything and come near the edge of the board. So he decides to hold. And I make the charge. Then I declare, well, at the same time, but I declare a charge of the other zombies and the skeletons on Karl Franz's unit. I really needed to slow him down, but I don't want both groups to make it in. I want the zombies to make it in, and they do. So now I'm in the flank. He can move Karl and his BSB over, and he can kill some, but he's not going to chop them up. No way. He's going to be there a while. If I had gotten my skeletons in as well, he would have had way more combat res to bear, and that would have, like, actually both units would have started being deleted at the same time, like just at the same rate. It would have been way too much combat. All those knights would have been swinging. So With the way it is now, my skeletons failed. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. But I had to declare the charge so that at least someone was getting in there. But they were both long bomb charges. Well, the skeletons needed 9 and the zombies needed a 10, but I made it, baby. So I'm very excited. And here's a picture just showing my zombies. I'm so proud of them. The remaining bat moves up just to chaff up these normal knights, and a nice picture of the Witcher head on his Hurricanum. We go to Magic at 7 dice to 4. I throw 3 dice Invocation of Nehek from my general, my level 3, on the targeting it out. You know, I'm bubbling it to 12, and I rolled poorly. I didn't get it off. I should have thrown 4 dice at it to be decisive, but I got greedy. So my Lord can't cast. I didn't heal the bats, and then my Necromancer doesn't have... He's a level 1. He couldn't get the 12. He needed the 12-inch bubble to be able to even reach the zombies, and he didn't get it off. So I just completely wasted my magic phase. Got greedy. In close combat, the zombies win, break the Pistoliers. I don't catch him, move up a bit from what you see here, and he loses one dangerous terrain, run over my bat. So suck it. And he ends up right on that kind of rocky ridge you'll see in a couple pictures where he is. Close combat over here, yeah, I delete the Demigriffs before they even get to go. They're just gone. So I only overrun just like a little bit with the Blood Knights, who are forced to, being Frenzy. And then, but they overrun till they're basically got a nice battle line with my Lord's group, who reforms. And then the Vargeist kill the cannon, and they have to overrun. They stop shy of the board, and that's what we got there. No panic ensues in the Pistoliers or anything weird like that. So it's a good round. We go to Empire turn 2. The Greatswords, well, I should mention on Vampire Count's turn 2, Carl and the BSB moved over. Remember, they were flanked. He kills a bunch of zombies, crumbles some, but that's about it. So on his turn, after combat, he reformed. Now it's his turn, and he moves the Greatswords into the flank. So those zombies are not long for this world, but they're doing their job. I made Carl turn to face me. I made the whole unit there. I'm slowing him down. And if I can get lucky and get those skeletons in to repeat that before he can chop through them all. Just a picture of the action. The Hurricanum goes into the flank of the zombies, and so he'll have a long battle there, hopefully. This is showing his Pistoliers rally, and this is where they end up when he rallies them and moves them there. So that where that man is currently doing whatever the hell he's doing to that rock, that's where the Pistoliers are. His knights back up, just trying to keep a uniform battle line and not go into the killing floor earlier than they have to. During Magic, it's 6 dice to 5. He only has the Hurricanum. He tries for the Hurricanum's Meteor, and he gets Meteor Strike off, the big one, but I think I armor saved it, I believe. I think I only hit like 1 knight, and they armor saved it or something interesting. I think it partially drifted off, so I only hit 1. In close combat, we get 6 impact wounds from the Hurricanum. The Acolytes up top, the Choir Boys, yeah, they land 4, and I crumble a ton. So 19 total gone. That's fine. I can heal them up on my turn, well, if I don't get greedy. But they're doing their job. No chance of reforming to face them, though. Over here, yeah, I crumbled to a man. They all just went to town. So now I've got to get my skeletons in, but he'll get to move a bit, which kind of sucks. Oh, and this actually shows after his charge in. Whose turn is this? Is this my turn? Yeah, so this is... I guess we're on his turn. Yeah, we are in his turn. He charged. So he overruns with his Greatswords. And you can see here, here's what the battle line looks like afterwards. So Carl just reformed, and his Greatswords ran forward. So now, it looks like from here, and this is where I made the decision, I can't get my skeletons into Carl's unit. I want to, but I can't really corner to corner very easily. I can't close the door. He can't close the door because of where everyone is. So I think I'm just going to have to go with the Greatswords, unfortunately. So we go to Vampire Count turn 3. I decide strategy is what I'd like here, so I do not charge. I make my Frenzy check on my Blood Knights, and they move forward a little bit. Remember, those Pistoliers are right there on the rock ridge. I move my Vampire Lord up just enough so that he's kind of got that battle line there, but at the same time, now I'm in range of the Vargeists, and they can March Fly, and they March Fly right behind his Knights. So I'm just ready to close the trap. I don't know, I can't think of a way to say that, but that's what I do. We have a very brown picture here, but it shows that my skeletons make it in, and you can see clearly here I couldn't get into Carl's group. So I just get into the Greatswords. I'll tie them up, but at least I won't be helping. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through them. They're stubborn, and I got nothing to buff those guys with. So I don't think Combat Res is going to win it for me. So go to the Magic phase. It's 7 dice to 4. I throw 4 dice at Van Hells. I heal up 2 Knights. Heal up 12 zombies, which is great. And I'm able to. I only heal 1 wound on the bats because at the time I thought because he was a multi-wound model I could only heal 1 wound to him, but I think it's actually because he's a beast. It's actually 1 plus caster level, so I think I could have fully healed them with what I rolled and with the lore attribute. So I kind of shortchanged myself. It didn't really matter because those knights will probably delete it. And so that's a good magic phase. And then my Necromancer, who's off camera, gets Invocation off, brings 5 skeletons back. And you can tell my zombie up front is really happy. He's praising the sun. So we go to close combat, and I do 0 damage against the Hurricane, but I only crumble by 1. He does very little to me as well. And with my General's leadership nearby, I am able to reform. So I'm happy about that. Close combat over here. The skeletons actually win by 1, go undead, but he's stubborn, and Carl's nearby, so he holds. Empire turn 3, the knights go into the bat, and he's going to get a nice overrun to those Zombros. He moves the Pistoliers up to gum up the work, so my knights have to charge, or my general will have to charge them. The Blood Knights could maybe go in the rear, but yeah, he's gumming up my lord at least. Oh, wait. Did I have anything else to say there? Yeah, I guess you can just see that Carl's unit is now doing this Mexican standoff thing. And then we go to Magic, and the Hurricanum gets a spell off, but he only does that drizzle of rain on the Black Knights, which makes them cold. In close combat, he kills the bat and joins combat with the Zombros, slams in, does a ton of extra wounds, but the best thing in the world happened. The zombies get 1 wound through on the Hurricanum, and that 1 wound dictates the crumble so that there's 1 zombie left. Yeah, buddy, that guy is awesome. There is 1 zombie holding up all that stuff, and now it's my turn to charge. Oh, and I'm happy about that. We were rolling laughing about that guy. He needs a name. He actually needs a torso, but we'll probably settle with a name first. So charges. I put the Black Knight, or the Blood Knights into the rear of his knights. The Vargeists, I make a big mistake with. I move them into the Hurricanum. They should have joined in the corner with the knights, and you'll see why in a minute. I charge my lord into the Pistoliers, and we looked at it and talked about it ahead of time. Yeah, once I delete those Pistoliers, I'm going to be able to just overrun and clip and get right into the knights. So I'm very excited about this charge. Go to Magic. It's 10 dice to 5. I can't bait him with anything. I've just got to do Van Hells. He's not going to try to stop anything else. So I Van Hells with 6 dice. I get Irresistible Force. Thankfully, I rolled super high on the chart, which means I lose all my wizard levels. But that's okay. This game's about over. I still got Van Hells bubbled on everyone for rerolls, and it's very, very awesome. So I lose 3 levels, but here we go. Pistoliers get eaten completely. And I overrun and clip him, so I'm able to join. Now, interestingly enough, I couldn't move my lord over to the Pistoliers. I didn't need him, but if I moved my lord over, I don't think he could have moved back for make way in the second combat, so I had to keep him on the corner. But the Black Knights finished him off. So then we overrun, obviously, like the ½ of an inch required, and we get into this big combat, and it's everything you'd ever want. It's just beautiful. With all the rerolls, the Blood Knights do 14 wounds themselves, and then my lord swings a bunch, just delete that unit completely. And the Vargeists, so this is where the mistake was, the Vargeists kill the Hurricanum, but they have to overrun. If I had gone in on the knights with the Vargeists, which I didn't need, then they would have overrun into the Hurricanum and they would have still been blocking there. As it is now, the Blood Knights also killed and overran. They had to, but they had to stop at frickin' whatever that zombie's name is. There was 1 zombie there. They had to stop an inch away. And now I've got this flank charge coming in on me. It's just going to be awful. And, yeah, if those Vargeists had been there, if I had been thinking ahead of time, I might have seen that, but that's just what happens. I wish he would have been able to kill that 1 zombie, because now as much as it saved me on the last turn, it's going to hose me this turn. My skeletons lose, but that's cool. I don't really care about that. Empire turn 4, here comes the charge. Everything you'd expect. He's coming right in, and we had to bring math out for this. There's no magic. He just blows through the Blood Knights. You know, he only lands a couple wounds, but it's Carl. So, actually, I think maybe Carl landed 4 wounds, 3 or 4, but with the combat res, just bloop, deletes him. And by the way, I'm going to say that again. For the brief period of time the FAQ said you couldn't overrun on a crumble, it was the best. When they took it away, F you Games Workshop, the undead and the demons do not need that nerf back. If you're going to die from crumble, I totally believe you should not get an overrun. Now, a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but it takes time for the crumbling to happen. It's not the momentum of battle carrying you forward, and you don't need to nerf TKs and VCs. Anyway, okay, now I'm off my soapbox. We actually had to bring out math here to be like, okay, when you make combat, it's an inch away from the zombies where I needed to be, and I'm not, you know, we basically had to like measure the actual bases to find out if he was going to hit the zombie on the overrun or if he was going to hit my lord. It was really close, but using math, we determined that he couldn't hit the zombie. He would have to get into my lord. Unfortunately, now he's into my lord, and my lord doesn't have the charge off, and he doesn't have strength 7. And the Black Knights also don't have the charge off, but he does, so it's woo. And Carl's just going to, you know, go to town if there's no armor save, auto wound, and crap. So, the skeletons lose more on his turn, but that's fine. He's whittled down to 6 now. I've done a few wounds, but that doesn't really matter. And we go to close combat, and my Vampire Lord goes first and just completely whiffs. Now, my Vampire Lord can't get into combat with Carl because he's not going to accept the challenge, and my Vampire Lord can't make weight. He's already in combat. So I swing, and my Vampire Lord misses. I get, like, a wound. I think just 1. And I had 5 attacks, and ASF was re-rolling. I just couldn't land him at strength 5. I might have landed a few, but he armor saved him. And my Black Knights do nothing. Carl deletes a ton of them, and then I just crumble completely. And unfortunately, that's the end of the game. When the vampire's gone and the bus is gone, everyone else just starts melting. So that was a fun game. 2K points. You know, I definitely could have stood a few more points so that I could have gotten a few more tricks in there, or maybe a little other magic, or a couple other guys. Actually, you know what? If I had more points, I probably just would have made that bus stronger, and it really didn't need to be. Probably would have put a stupid White King in there or something. But it was fun. I really enjoy playing the Blood Knights. I think they're awesome. They're kind of hard to make work because Frenzy's a bitch, but when they hit stuff, man, those guys just tear through shit. It's awesome. Well, that's the game. Thanks for watching. I should have another one out soon.